Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's 1Mby1M Strategy Roundtable for Entrepreneurs. 1Mby1M, as you know, is the first and only global virtual accelerator in the world. Our mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million in annual revenue and beyond, build $1 trillion in global B2c, and 10 million jobs. In support of that mission, we do these free mentoring roundtables week after week after week. This is the 572nd roundtable. Every single recording is available on our YouTube channel, 1M1M Roundtable. On Twitter, we're at 1M1M and at Stromana. Today's hashtag is 1M1M. And these are the call-in instructions. It is a roundtable, not a broadcast, so you're very welcome to call in, but later. We are going to start today's session with some scheduled programming. First, we have a conversation with Andrus Oks, founding partner at Tera Ventures. Andrus, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Andrus, let's start by introducing our audience to yourself as well as Tera Ventures, and I will, ask you questions to further illustrate your investment thesis and work with Tera.
Sure, happy to.
So talk a bit about your background.
Yeah, so I'm, as said, one of the founding partners of Tera Ventures. Tera is Tallinn-based seed fund. We currently invest from our 45 million euro second fund, and yeah, we're sort of halfway through. We have done 15 deals and probably will do another 15. And yeah, we are broadly seed from early to late, from a couple of €100,000 initial tickets to 1.5 million. And yeah, we support our portfolio companies throughout the early rounds as well. And we like to be early. We've been actually mostly the first investors. So yeah, some of our most notable portfolio companies, we have started supporting them when they were essentially founder teams and slide decks and some marketing tests. Yeah.
So you do essentially pre-seed and concept stage investing.
And later seed as well, yeah. Not only early.
Yeah.
We'd like to be early.
So you do the follow-ons, but you're okay, you're comfortable with doing these very early stage stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And what do you need to see in a founder team where you would write a check against a concept?
So yeah, this is actually where we spend most of our time, really trying to understand the founders' ambitions and motivation and background as well. So yeah, we sort of we think about it quite broadly as well. So for instance, we try to invest both into experienced founders and first-time entrepreneurs as well. So and yeah, of course, I mean the main point really is, well, do we believe that these guys can actually change the world or become category leaders in their category or in their industry, and yeah, do we believe we will be able to help them? And
what heuristics have you come up with in determining that? And these are two different categories, right? The experienced entrepreneur often is a proven quantity, somebody who has track record, and you can invest in somebody's track record, but a first-time entrepreneur doesn't have that. So what do you look for in a first-time founder to write a pre-seed check?
So yeah, well, obviously intellectual capability as well. So but yeah, the way they think about their business, the extensive actually done the homework in a sense. Even though they are early, I mean, they should have been thinking about, at least thinking about their business for some meaningful amount of time. And yeah, we sort of try to sort of test their ideas and well dismiss them. And the quality of that discussion usually is actually the main way we evaluate the opportunity as well. So and yeah, we are not this too fast decision maker perhaps. So we like to spend some time with
Take
them.
your time to get to know the
Yeah,
entrepreneurs. Yeah.
yeah, and this and obviously we try to help them at the same time. So it's not just that well we're I don't know, interviewing them or testing them. Well, the usual test is something related to their go-to-market actually. So we are well trying to validate this opportunity together with them, and this can lead to
Yeah.
well them finding customers with us. Well, we've been doing this for more than 13 years, so we've been during that time have been well, developing capabilities, well, how to actually find relevant people. And we do obviously have existing networks. And yeah, all three Tera partners are previous entrepreneurs as well. So of course we mostly actually like this well side of the business where we try to help them. So this is really an
Yeah.
enjoyable exercise, trying to validate this opportunity and at the same time getting to know them.
And what sectors do you invest in? What types of businesses do you like to invest in?
We are agnostic. We've invested in many industries. Of course, we like some themes more than others. We've been investing in this AI machine learning for more than a decade, and that's well, the main theme really. And the other point is that as we are hands-on, as some of our portfolio companies mature, we get to learn about their respective industries as well. And for that reason, we like fintech more. We like automation, and we're well, sort of um, focused on partner level. So I personally also follow AdTech and EdTech, for instance.
Mm-hmm. And what about B2C? Do you do B2C as well?
Yeah, we are open for that as well. We are predominantly B2B. That's because, well, that's the deal flow we see, and we are more comfortable about those deals as well. But yeah, we don't exclude B2C.
Okay, so it's primarily B2B SaaS and then some B2C potentially.
And another theme, certainly, we like to invest in those well more serious engineering cases or deep tech as well. So
Yeah. And what is the geographical span of Tera?
so yeah, Estonia is the home market. Most of our deals are here, but we also cover Denmark, Sweden, Finland, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, and Czech Republic. So sort of a circle around Baltic Sea.
Circle around where?
Baltic Sea.
Baltic Sea, Baltic Sea. Oh, okay. And you are based in what city?
Tallinn, Estonia. But
Tallinn. And
we are sort of a remote team. So
all three of you?
so,
All three of you are based in Tallinn?
yeah. So main office is here in Tallinn, but three of us are here, three team members. But we one of us is actually in London, and one is in Amsterdam, and we also have presence in Helsinki. So.
Got it. So you're based in Tallinn, but you are investing at least in a broader catchment area, not just in Estonia.
Exactly. Yeah.
How does the Estonian culture and entrepreneurial momentum play into your investment strategy? Does that mean that you invest in around the Baltic Sea, but are you looking for people to have development shops in Estonia or some kind of like a back end in Estonia? How do you leverage Estonia?
So Estonia is very special. So to put it in context, yes. So first, it is a small country. So so yeah, 1.3 million inhabitants, and and we actually have 10 Estonian unicorns. So in per capita terms, we are one of the leading countries, and this is reflected in, well, essentially in any per capita measurement, so including, well, per capita investment amount annually. Last year it was more than $1 billion, and this year already it's more than $1 billion. So again, so if you consider 1.3 million people, that's quite a lot. Yeah. So this is very helpful, and we achieved this quite fast as well. So so when I started to invest 13 years ago, the annual amount raised here in Estonia was few million euros total across all the startups. So obviously we've evolved very rapidly, and the main sort of trigger for that, well, Skype is obviously Estonian, and we've spent this time, and then the success of Skype actually happened like 17, 18 years ago. So we've spent this time to actually, well, trying to understand, well, how to build such a disruptive and born global company, and yeah, we've by now sort of understood or internalized that as an ecosystem. And yeah, this has resulted already in, well, many other unicorns. And yeah, in our own existing portfolio, we have a couple of startups valued in hundreds of millions. So so yeah, this evolution of the ecosystem, or how attractive the Estonian ecosystem is well, certainly part of our success. But obviously, it's not just about Estonia. It's the rest of the region is very interesting as well.
I'd like to ask you a few questions about that Estonian ecosystem and some metrics, actually. 1.3 million people. How many people work in the tech ecosystem? Whether it's engineers, managers, marketing, whatever, but in the tech ecosystem, investors.
Yeah, I don't know by heart. Yeah.
But is it like 10%, 20%, 5%? What are we talking?
Yeah, if you think about the whole sort of IT industry, then this is perhaps around 10%. Yeah, I don't know the exact figure. Yeah. It is growing fast. The startup ecosystem is growing 30% a year. So.
And the unicorns that have come about, what have you learned in terms of what sectors have they come in, and how have they leveraged the Estonian strength?
So in case of the unicorns, there is again actually sort of no specific industry where they would come from. It's yeah, they are across various industries really. So, but I think what is the one of the, well, cornerstones is this, well, again, this Skype role model. Skype at the time was like a truly disruptive company, and this is this is like a mental model that we have. Can we find the next Skype? Can we find something that is, well, truly disruptive? And I think, yeah, that's perhaps the main theme across all of them.
Yeah. And to what extent is this mindset of being really ambitious and disruptive present beyond Estonia and the rest of the Baltic region?
So it is certainly present in Scandinavia. So so yeah, in our region, actually, Sweden is the most mature market, and they also have well, many unicorns there. And we are actually well, learning from Stockholm ecosystem quite a bit. And the other main cities in the region, um, they share the same sort of um, highly educated pool of people, and well, it used to be that our region was mostly excelling with tech talent, but yeah, this well, development has now happened for such a long time that well, we are well, more balanced. The commercial capabilities are
Yeah.
also here. So this is, yeah, from your US perspective, perhaps interesting to note as well that yeah, previously the European startups, they're essentially the primary goal was to enter the US market, or at least to fundraise from there. But the
Yeah.
European marketplace has matured during recent years so much that
Tremendously.
it's not even well, necessary anymore. They can also get funded here in Europe. So, and as an effect, actually, US VCs have not just paid more attention here, but well, they have well established teams here in Europe. Yeah, otherwise they would just miss those opportunities. So when we
Right.
started,
Right.
we actually also well, our initial target indeed was to send our portfolio companies to the US, especially East Coast. We've also sold three portfolio companies to major Nasdaq listed US corporations. And yeah, uh, the main way we have sort of enabled this, or helped them to do that, we have helped them to fundraise from US investors. And yes, the list is quite long there, but it does include those top names like Tera Ventures, Bessemer, Craycraft, Matrix Partners. Yeah, I said mostly East Coast, but yeah, also five portfolio companies in London. The most notable syndicate partner there is Molten, and but we're not just well European and US in terms of network. We've actually done several deals with Japanese investors, mostly at
Mm.
portfolio company level, and also the top names have invested into our portfolio companies after us. Um, but yeah, two of them are invested in our fund as well, including
Mm-hmm.
the most notable being Itochu, one of the largest Japanese companies actually. And we when we fundraised for the current fund, we really tried to raise money from those LPs that are helping beyond money. So they are not invested just to get the financial return, but they are actually interested to do deals with portfolio companies and sometimes deal flow companies. So, and
Mm-hmm.
as
Mm-hmm.
Itochu is an industrial conglomerate and actually covers a large
Yeah.
part of Asia as well, they're like a soft landing partner for our companies in Asia, really. And as said,
Mm-hmm.
we actually have several we really try to get those value adding LPs into the fund, and we have several in the fund. So mostly from Scandinavia, but actually three from the US as well. The most notable being Perot Jane, a major Texas-based group of companies and an investor. So, and again, they are actually helping portfolio companies, investing in them, and yeah, it's a soft landing opportunity for our companies in the US.
So, we have been also working with the Indian ecosystem from the very beginning, and we have had a lot of success with the Indian ecosystem. We have huge presence in that space. One thing we've learned is that if it's a India-facing B2C company, that company should be raising money in India, and there's plenty of money available in India for a good venture. If it's a B2B company, either Indian market-facing B2B company or even a global market-facing B2B company, the go-to-market strategy can be fully executed sitting in India. Only when it comes to enterprise deals or some sort of global, whether it's global B2C, global edtech, global, whatever, fintech, then it comes the question of having to, have presence in the US. Enterprise-facing companies generally want to come to the US and start, after they validate in India, they come to the US and they want to enter the market in the US because US enterprise customers are very savvy in buying new technology and innovation. How would you summarize the perspective in your part of the world in those categories, like the European-facing, the internal domestic market-facing B2C, the small business-facing B2B, and then the enterprise-facing B2B?
Yeah, so I certainly see similarities from our point of view, especially this US approach. I think it's pretty similar, but I wouldn't be so strict. So meaning that you can find those well-matching investors that can actually help in their respective markets in many places. It's not just the US as well. So yeah. For instance,
you're talking about the enterprise-facing B2B.
And in that category, I actually agree that US is usually the most attractive market. So, but I'm saying that in the other categories, so I wouldn't be so limiting, or this current world is so diverse that you can find the good partners and great investors for your companies in many locations. So it's difficult to sort of focus really on Europe only or something like that. And as I said, we have been successful in getting investors from the US, from Europe, and from Japan as well. So it's it
To
makes
invest
more
in
sense.
European market-facing companies, you're saying?
Yeah, it makes more sense to sort of talk to more investors. So when we and obviously, well, coming back to the point about the founders as well. So it is actually quite a lot related to their ambition. So
Yeah.
in some cases, they themselves really want to go to the US, and in case of at least a couple of my portfolio companies, they just don't want to go there.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to stay here. Yeah.
The other advantage you have, I think, in the case of Europe is that there is actually a substantial enterprise software buyer market in Europe as well. The Indian software buyer market or technology buyer market is not as mature. Europe has a lot of enterprises, large enterprises that buy a lot of technology, knows how to buy a lot of technology. And so you could build a substantial business catering to the European enterprise customers already. That's one observation I have. And then the second one is that language is an issue in Europe more than in India. In India, the business operates mostly in English, so software, everything is in English. Whereas in Europe, I think there's a bit more of a language issue, and English is not necessarily the lingua franca of Europe. Although in Northern Europe, in your region in Scandinavia, English is more of a lingua franca. Is that correct?
I agree with that, but yeah, obviously lately the English language is much more commonplace. So young people all obviously speak English, even in Southern European
Yeah.
countries. So I think it's evolving quite nicely from that perspective as well.
Yeah, it's evolving. Right. Right. Before we finish, would you like to talk about a couple of your investments as kind of case studies? And as you talk about them, talk about their value proposition and market and so forth, but also talk about how you encountered them, what stage were they in, what state were they in, and what is it about them that compelled you to write the check?
Sure. So this is one of my first investments, a company called GrabCAD. Um, it's it wasn't a special case from the very beginning. So usually startups are very focused, and these guys they were sort of working with uh, three different um, focuses or pillars of the business. So they are like a LinkedIn for CAD engineers. They are also a CAD library, and they initially had sort of CAD services online. So we
Mm-hmm.
were considering that, well, is it okay? Is it um why are you not focused, or would it be better to have a focus? And and well, this took some time, but the guys were so forward looking, and they executed so well that they sort of proved this with traction. So this obviously when they started, well, these none of those things really existed online. So and um,
So you're
and
talking
it
about
appears that those
CAD
yeah.
libraries for mechanical design?
Yes, exactly. So, and because they got great models into this library, well, this obviously got quite a lot of attention, and that's why the engineers actually signed up to this platform. This will enable
Mm-hmm.
creating this well LinkedIn for CAD engineers, and well, this was like a virtuous cycle really, and then they well started even building CAD functionality, some kind of functionality into the browser as well. So yeah, very cool company, and yeah, we had a really nice exit with them after they went through Techstars Boston and then raised money from Matrix Partners after Ventures, and Charles River joined at Series B. So yeah, it's
And
an interesting
who bought
story.
the company?
Stratasys, Nasdaq listed.
Okay. I did quite a bit of work on a CAD company in the early 2000s. I know the CAD market reasonably well. And I'm just curious, was it any particular CAD platform that they were building models on, or were they covering multiple CAD platforms? What was the strategy?
Yeah, multiple. Yeah, that was it. Actually.
Multiple. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Very cool. All right, let's do one more, and then we'll wrap up.
Um, yeah, let's see. So I have another portfolio company which has excelled really by doing mini pivots. So when I first talked to them, they were um, so their point was that, well, the video ads were essentially at the time tested in university labs,
Mm.
and like complicated um, um, eye tracking machines were used, and then they thought that, okay, we can sort of simplify this, and we can, well, just getting those people, getting the panelists to those, well, university labs is a hassle. And they thought that, okay, we can, well, bring those devices to, well, regular cafeterias, and well, make it simpler. But well, this still at the time wasn't actually compelling. So when I thought that, okay, this is now really interesting to invest in, they actually had figured out that they can, without those physical eye tracking devices, they can actually um, they can do it algorithmically from any webcam. And this is obviously more scalable, much more interesting. You can all test across the whole world and different segments of people. And then they discover that, well, actually, well, emotions are more valuable than, well, eye tracking. So if you can detect the emotional response, then it's, well, customers are more interested in that. And they developed the capability for that. So and then after that they discovered that, well, actually attention is potentially even more interesting. So and they've actually developed the industry leading capability to detect attention as well. And during past few years they've actually branched out to other nearby use cases, and yeah, they are actually a really interesting company going forward. So
what use case
probably
do they
will do
monetize
really
on
more pivots.
primarily?
Sorry.
What use case do they monetize primarily?
So actually, currently the main product is mostly actually attention measurement and this emotion tracking. So
In
a
what
combination
context? In what use case?
in the well ad measurement and
Advertising.
video ad
Yeah.
and media placement as well. Yeah.
I see. Okay. Very cool. Well, it's been quite an enlightening conversation to learn both about your firm's activities as well as the region's activities. So we will keep in touch and track the progress of the region. We are very, very excited about the whole globalization of entrepreneurship, which was our mission when we launched in 2010, and it's been really wonderful to see that evolution, and we constantly provide our platform to showcase those movements. So thank you for coming and sharing today.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Folks, we are going to switch to the entrepreneur pitch session, and we have, I think, at least one entrepreneur that's going to pitch. I just want you to know from an expectation setting point of view that we are completely on your side. This is a safe working session. You don't need to be nervous or defensive. Whether you agree with my feedback or not is up to you. What you do with your company is up to you. I will try to be candid and give you, productive, constructive feedback, and what you do with that is up to you. Elif Aydin, you are on. Elif, are you able to call in or what's happening? Something seems to be technically wrong with you, your line. You're here. Can you speak up? Are you on mute or something? If you're on mute, you need to unmute your line. We cannot hear you. What is the audio problem? Can you activate your computer audio? We see you in the room, but we cannot. You're going to join by phone. Okay, great. That's fine. So while Elif is sorting out his, I'm not sure, but technicalities, let me quickly summarize how you can use the 1 million by 1 million program, and we'll come back to Elif's presentation. You will find all resources at 1Mby1M.com. And you can start with a free blog, which is a rich blog that you can learn a lot from. The who's who of the technology industry show up on the blog to share their journeys, their thought leadership, etc. You can also use the book series, Entrepreneur Journeys, to learn. There are 12 books based on case studies of entrepreneurs and their success stories. You have these roundtables happening every week. You can pitch once for free, but you can come as many times as you like. The full acceleration program is 1Mby1M Premium, and you get extensive methodology guidance, access to the curriculum, help with business development, help with fundraising, all of that as part of the premium program. I suggest you look at the self-assessment on the 1M1M website. There are due diligence questions that VCs would ask you. Take a look at those. We like to suggest that you do these due diligence questions on your own, practice, see if you can answer. This is kind of your strategic planning guideline as well. So very valuable tool, extensively used on our website, and we recommend that you use it too. The other tool that is worth using is bootstrapping, the free bootstrapping course on our blog. So go to the blog. On the top of the page, you have the bootstrapping course pinned. It's less than 1 hour. It was a commission course by LinkedIn, and hundreds of thousands of people have done this course. We suggest that you take a look at that. Then we have a whole lot of training material, learning material on Udemy. So there are 30 courses based on the 1M1M methodology. You're welcome to. They're very reasonably priced. You can start your learning there as well. The whole list is also on our blog. Our entire curriculum is available as 1M1M Basic. Curriculum only option is $99 a month. So go on the website, dig around what to expect from premium, basic, FAQs, video FAQs, figure out how you want to learn. The curriculum is described in a lot of detail. We're constantly upgrading the curriculum. There's tremendous case study development that happens on a daily basis within 1Million by 1Million. So, every so often we are repackaging the curriculum to showcase more of what we are learning, contemporary stuff, etc. So you will find lots of material in the curriculum that you can self-learn with. And in that self-learning, I'm helping you as a kind of guide on the side, but also the people whose case studies are here in this program are also helping you, giving you guidance based on their journeys. So if you immerse yourself in this curriculum, you are going to come out on the other end vastly more mature as an entrepreneur. I'm absolutely sure about that. We have a lot of proof of that evolution. Investor introductions, we work with hundreds of investors, and yes, we are happy to introduce you to investors. Please look at the investor introduction page. You do need to be deemed fundable by us. And if you're not, you have to work with us to get to that stage before we will send you to investors. Our mantra is do not go to investors as beggars, go as kings. Our methodology is lean, capital efficient, bootstrap startups. Bootstrap first, raise money later is kind of the mantra we use. And that is it. Is Elif now able to talk? Could you say something so I can test?
I'm here. Do you hear me?
Yes, perfect. Let me just scroll back to your slides and we can get you started right away.
Okay.
Oops. All right, let's go. Peep.
Yeah. Hi everyone. My name is Elif Aydin. I live in New York City right now, but I'm from Turkey and I'm the co-founder of Peep. Actually, last year, because Turkey suffered from the wildfires terribly. Maybe you heard that. It's like my people. This situation affected my people a lot, and me and my colleague, and actually she's my classmate, and we were discussing how we can help the climate change, how can we solve this problem, and we were trying to find a channel to target this problem, and we founded Peep. Actually, Peep is helping the drivers to find the best parking spots, and it's like a Uber, but it's not like a Uber. We are the drivers are choosing the destination they want to go, and Peep is showing how many spots available in specific streets near the destination. It's like it could be like 2 spots available in 52nd Street. There are 3 spots available in 53rd Street. It's something like that. But we are focusing on street parking areas, not off street parking areas. Maybe next slide can explain the problem better.
Okay, just a second. I'm going to give you one piece of feedback that you need to address, which is a language issue. So you put the slide up, on-street park finder for New Yorkers. And I'm thinking, park finder is a Central Park? What park? Gramercy Park? What are we talking about? But what you really mean is on-street parking finder.
Yeah.
And just imagine, all this while you are talking, you've talked for probably 2 minutes already, and I am lost because I'm thinking, how does this connect with, what are we talking about? Finding parks? Are we talking about ride sharing to go to park, or what are you talking about? So immediately, my first feedback to you is you need to change this first slide.
Okay. I'm gonna change the first slide. Yeah. Should I continue or?
Yes, please continue.
Your feedbacks.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, these are my classmates, and we were trying to find a solution for street parking for the drivers, and we come up with the Peep. Maybe next slide, because in next slide I'm gonna explain the problem. In New York City, parking is never easy. We are wasting lots of time while finding a spot. It's time waste, and also there are lots of carbon emission because of the cars, and that's why we wanted to solve this problem. Our solution, maybe next slide, is we are offering to capturing the image from traffic real-time webcams, or you can say surveillance cameras, and we are going to perform some operation on the image, and we are going to return how many spots available in specific streets. This is our unique solution because in next slides we are going to see our competitors. Our competitors are focusing on most.
One second. Question here. You are assuming that you can collect this data, or is this data available?
Available.
It is available. So the government, the municipality allows you to take this data and build smart city solutions around it.
Exactly. It's a public data. Everyone can see everyone can use. And our main 3 competitors in United States, it's a Parkcom, ParkMe, and Best Parking. As I told you before, they are mostly focusing on commercial garage or residential garage. It's like they're offering a sharing or their private garage, or they're showing the commercial garage to the users. But unlike the other solution, we don't need the user data. We don't need to collect all customers or all users to create a meaningful model, because our model is more rely on the lines. Yeah.
Municipal data, street parking. Okay.
This is our product design for app, and you're just choosing the destination you want to go, and the app shows you how many spots available, and size of the market. Based on the total available market, I assume that the total number of drivers in New York City, not actually in New York City, it's in United States, are our number, and the users that using the parking app is our serviceable available market, and our target serviceable optimal market is 0.14 million.
So this is all over the United States?
Not actually. I think it was New York City. It's my mistake. It's
only New York City. Okay.
Yeah. And next target market. We thought which customer we should target first, And when we think about that, the drivers that regularly need a parking spot in New York could be our first target model. This could be the businessman or the businesswoman who lives in Queens, Brooklyn, and they need to come to Manhattan every day. And this is our first target market. And the second target market is the drivers of the delivery apps for grocery, because they need to leave the package and come back. And that's why it's like it could be challenging for them. These are two customer groups that we are going to target. And in next slide.
So my feedback on this is that you probably would be better off flipping the two. Target market 2 should be target market 1, because if you if you can do just deals with the DoorDash and Uber Eats and so forth, you can get a lot of users very quickly. And if your product really solves their problem, I think that the pain point that you're discussing is a real legitimate pain point. This may be something that they would be willing to distribute, to be using for their drivers very readily if you have a good solution.
Okay, thanks so much. And our business model is a subscription model. Actually, we have two main as business model. First one, for the drivers that need to find a spot every day. We thought they need a subscription model. They can they can subscribe. The second model is, let's say you are visiting the city once in every week. It's like you don't need to subscribe, but you still need it, as you still need that product. That's why we thought the pay-per-use model. And lastly, the sponsorship model is the advertising model we want to use. And next slide, please. And the main point of this project is actually it's a social impact. As I mentioned before, we care the climate change a lot, and we want to help the world in the way we can do. And this was our expertise. And me and my classmate is like, we studied computer vision, and that's why we wanted to start this project. This is our expertise, and in that way we are thinking we can do something for our work.
I want to comment on your business model.
Yeah, sure.
It's a follow-up to what I said earlier about your target market 1 should be the Ubers and the DoorDashes of the world, and the Grubhub and so on. I think you should model how you are going to charge an Uber. So is it a subscription model? If they I don't know how many subscribers, how many drivers they have in New York, but if you take that approach that you're going to be selling through the Ubers and the DoorDashes and the Amazons and whoever's doing delivery, basically, even UPS drivers probably need this solution. If you use that model as a B2B model, you can, in that case, you don't have to just stay focused in New York. You can take all the major cities where this problem exists, where there are crowded downtowns, but there's housing in crowded downtowns, and there is a lot of delivery going on. This is a very, very good go-to-market strategy, in my opinion, to go B2B than trying to go B2C, which is going to be a very, very expensive affair. If you have a compelling solution, you could do multi-million-dollar deals with like a handful of companies, and you would have a very large business. Whereas if you try to go B2C, it's going to cost you tremendous amount of customer acquisition dollars.
Okay.
So my net feedback to you is I would do this as a B2B business, not as a B2C business.
The thing is, maybe Uber driver don't leave their cars even when they are doing delivery.
Okay, Uber Eats does, right?
Uber Eats does, yeah.
Right. So Uber owns Uber Eats, so you have to work with Uber to be able to work with Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub, UPS, the Postal Service. They all have this problem.
All right. See, I mean, yeah, you opened new doors in my mind. Just I have never thought the UPS. It's like, and I thought, I was so focused on the B2C. I have never thought B2B, but as you said before, B2B is
This
more.
business, this business is going to be a lot more successful as a B2B business than as a B2C business. You can do B2C later, but it's going to cost so much money to build this as a B2C business, whereas for a B2B business, I think you can build it cost efficiently and I mean capital efficiently, and I think you could build a very successful business.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks so much. It
You're
was
very welcome.
it was very helpful. Do you have any feedback, in
No,
general?
I think that engineering, that business engineering, strategic engineering that you're going to do is going to be a massive, exercise for you. So if you need help with that, come join 1 million by 1 million. We will help you. We're very good at this kind of strategic work. That's why I can see it immediately and exactly how to do it. And if you don't know how to do it, come join 1M1M. We will help you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. All right. So upcoming 3 roundtables, 1 more in April, and then 4 more in May. So you're very welcome to come as many times as you want. The line is now open for Q&A. So you have to let us know who wants to chat, who wants to ask questions, provide updates, etc. And you can also use your computer audio to talk. If you have questions about the 1M1M program, Irina Patterson is your contact, irina@1M1M.com. So questions, folks, let us know in public chat if you want to chat, if you want to talk, if you want to ask questions, etc. Anybody? No? No question? How is that possible? All right, well, if there's no question, then we're going to adjourn the session. Dave Habouche, you have a question, please. Unmute your line and unmute your computer audio, and you should be able to talk from there.
I just wanted to chime in and ask if I may pitch today or
Sure.
another day.
You can pitch. Yeah, we have time. You can pitch right now, but you don't have slides, right?
I don't have slides. I was wondering if that gentleman from Tera Ventures is still on the line.
No, he just left.
Well, I would love to pitch to you if you have a moment.
Sure, go ahead. Let's listen to your elevator pitch.
I have 2 businesses that I'm launching. I've been working on them for several months. Both have global appeal, not just to one local market, New York City or otherwise. In a nutshell, the first is a competitor to LinkedIn, which I believe is a bit of a dinosaur of a company now. I have a few strategies and a few models we've been perfecting that is much more user-friendly, much more searchable, and it is a dramatic improvement on a LinkedIn type platform. The monetization aspect is very different. My background is in real estate, and there's tremendous opportunity for monetization, which LinkedIn is not utilizing. They have obviously different models, which we would have as well. However, the additional concepts we have are extremely profitable in other sectors, and it's simply an app. However, in a nutshell, it would be a dramatically improved LinkedIn.
So my first reaction to that is that you have said nothing to me that convinces me that's about your approach. Other than
I'll explain it further.
Hang on, let me finish just a second. So in a pitch, if you want to get people's attention in a pitch. Right now, you're not doing a full pitch, right? You're not doing a 10-minute pitch, you're doing an elevator pitch. In that elevator pitch, within 30 seconds to a minute, you're going to have to establish credibility. So what is it in your approach that when you say you want to compete with LinkedIn, LinkedIn is massive. LinkedIn is very deep pocket. So it's a daunting task to compete with LinkedIn. So in that 90 second, 60 to 90 second pitch, you're going to have to establish credibility that, I should take you seriously or an investor should take you seriously. So what is that? What can you say that is going to do that right off the bat?
Ultimately, if I am in Vancouver, an international market, and I'm looking for a mortgage broker who speaks French, who is X amount of years experienced in a local market, I can't actually find that on LinkedIn. The search criteria is not designed as such. There's a lot of people there who are retired, just posting articles, and a language-based search. Also, I'm looking for a female mortgage broker. I'm looking for a male realtor above the age of 50. And then I'm merging it with a dating app platform where instead of a long list, it's a swipe left and right to ultimately decide out of the criteria I'm choosing. Similar to on a dating app, you can say, I'm looking for a woman age 30 to 40 who is athletic build and blah, blah, blah. And then it gives you a list of, 50, and you're swiping left and right. And then you're choosing one which triggers the, obviously in the dating world, it's a connection, but in this business, it would be I would like to choose you to be my mortgage broker. Please contact me. Yellow
So
Pages is.
Dave, how familiar are you with Upwork?
I have a very strong team who is extremely
you answer my question.
well-researched.
How familiar are you with Upwork?
Very familiar.
So what you're talking about is a combination of LinkedIn and Upwork. It is not just, you're not doing a competitor to LinkedIn. You're doing something different, which is a good thing.
I am merging a variety of different platforms, each of which has not perfected the model. So the dating app platform meets Upwork, meets LinkedIn, meets another platform to monetize the business extremely well. I can explain in detail, but
if I were pitching this, I would not pitch it as a competitor to LinkedIn. When you pitch this as a competitor to LinkedIn, you lost me right there, and you said a bunch of generic stuff. I didn't connect with any of it. But when you pitched it with a use case, and you pitched it as a fusion of Tinder and LinkedIn and Upwork, but in a professional context, that resonates with me, and you gave a good use case. So that's how I would pitch it. I would not pitch it as a competitor to LinkedIn.
I appreciate that feedback, and I understand where you're coming from, and I appreciate that you do see the vision in the fusion aspect.
And then the second feedback I have for you, you started this conversation by saying you are launching 2 businesses. Nobody launches 2 successful businesses in parallel right at the beginning.
Elon Musk and others, I'm certainly a visionary, and
Elon Musk did not launch 2 businesses at once until he was vastly successful and wealthy. Are you vastly successful and wealthy?
Yes. I'm an extremely...
How wealthy are you? Are you a billionaire?
I am an extremely successful property developer.
With no experience of building technology businesses.
I have a team that is extremely experienced in building technology businesses, and my cousin is the CFO of a large company, and he is a part of the team as well.
Okay, then you know what you're doing. You don't need our help, I think.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
That's
all right.
Super disappointing as saying goodbye, but
you already know what you're doing, so I don't think we can help you. We can only help people who have some humility about their knowledge and their, lack of knowledge. So if you think you know everything, and if your team covers everything that you need to know, there is no reason for us to interfere in that picture. And by the way, there are lots of businesses that are being built by entrepreneurs outside of our sphere. We are not, every successful entrepreneur does not go through 1 million by 1 million. So I don't doubt that there are lots of entrepreneurs who don't need us. And I think, given the way you present yourself, I think it's not going to be a match in the way we operate and the way you operate. All right. So anybody else? Any other questions, comments? All right, folks, we will adjourn today. As I showed you the schedule for the next few roundtables, you're very welcome to come to any of them, April 28th, May 5th, 12th, 19th, 26th. It's usually Thursday mornings, and we will see you then. Bye-bye. Take care.